Hi everyone, and welcome to our weekly youth group update. So big announcement, Sunday night youth group is back. Starting this Sunday, August 22nd, we're gonna be meeting on the basketball court at 5 p.m. every single Sunday for a time of fellowship in Jesus. You're invited and so are your friends. You know, I once heard someone say, the adventure starts when everything goes wrong. Now, whether you agree with that statement or not, let's pretend that everything has gone wrong with a classic game of Would You Rather. So to play, I'll describe a scenario. You must determine what you'd rather deal with during this dilemma. Write your decision in the comments down below, okay? Make sense? Let's start. While paddling down a river, your boat springs a catastrophic leak, causing you to jump out of the boat into the water. So, would you rather wrestle a crocodile or tango with an angry hippopotamus? Interesting. I would take my chances with a croc any day over a hippo. Now next, your SUV breaks down in the middle of a jungle. You need to move quickly. Would you rather ride on the back of an ostrich or be carried by a massive gorilla? First off, I am terrified of any type of bird. Also, I just don't think I can trust the back of an ostrich. All right, finally, you are being chased by a pack of angry lemurs. To get away, would you rather jump into a river infested with hungry piranhas or swing across the river using the tail of an unsuspecting python? Now, snakes are not my friend. I'm taking my chances with the piranhas. Now, there wasn't a right or wrong answer to any of those scenarios. For some of you, you probably selected the option that sounded the most fun, like swinging across a river, even if it is by a python tail. For others, you may have selected the option that was just less risky. Regardless, you gave these scenarios a little bit of thought before deciding. Now, think about your life. Think about the situations and conflicts that you face throughout your week. Your sister screams at you for changing the channel. Your bicycle is missing from your front porch. Someone accidentally steps on your new shoes that you got for school. When moments like that happen, how much effort do you put into thinking about how to respond? If I can be honest with you guys for a minute, I've never had to face off against a pack of angry lemurs. However, I have argued with my brother many times. And you know what? So many times in my life, I have not given any thought whatsoever to my reaction toward my brother. I never considered the consequences of my actions or how my actions might make the situation worse. Now, I'm pretty confident I'm not the only one who has had this problem. Every day, we react to situations without thinking. And most of the time, the consequences, they aren't too great. So how do we change? How do we make sure that we take time to stop and think about how our responses may or may not be wise choices? So that's a great question. And like we've been saying all month, if we want to know how to make the wise choice, we need to gain some wisdom. And one of the best places to find wisdom is the Bible. So let's head to the Bible now and discover something about God that can help us. Last week we talked about the wisest man who ever lived, a king named Solomon. Solomon's wisdom, along with the wisdom from a few other people, was written down in the book of Proverbs. So today we're going to look at something written in an ancient proverb of Solomon's that will help us when we are faced with tough situations. So imagine being a young king with the opportunity for the God of the universe to give you whatever you wanted. What would you ask for? Well, when this happened to King Solomon, he asked for wisdom. God was impressed and gave Solomon a whole lot of it. Much of the wisdom God gave Solomon was written down in the book of Proverbs. Following the advice in the book of Proverbs can help us live wiser and better lives, since that wasn't just God's heart for Solomon, it's also God's heart for us too. For today, let's check out some of that wise advice that God gave Solomon. So in Proverbs chapter 22, verse 3, it says, "Wise people see danger and go to a safe place, but childish people keep going and suffer for it." For many of us, this is probably pretty easy to understand. When faced with danger, protect yourself by finding shelter. When we think of danger, it's important to broaden the definition beyond the most extreme situations, like a tornado coming to your town, or a fire in your home, or a flood. Dangerous situations could also include lying to avoid getting in trouble, or talking negatively about your friends to others. All situations in life have an element of risk when not treated with wisdom. Let's suppose a friend of yours named Jake finds the answer key to a really important science test. It has the answers to the entire thing, like multiple choice, true, false, and the dreaded short answer question. Your friend has always been quick to include you in the happenings. This situation, it's no different. Jake seeks you out to give you the answers and help you to score well on the test too. It's a tempting proposition. Science has never been your strongest subject, and a good test score would definitely boost your overall grade. Now, you can let your brain think of all the praise you would receive from your classmates, teachers, and even the principal for that perfect score you'd receive on your really difficult science test. Or maybe you dream of all the riches you'd receive when your parents bump up your allowance for such an incredible science score. But obviously, cheating is not the wisest choice. At this point, you might be asking, well, then what is the wise choice? Well, I'm really glad you asked. Using this scenario, let's check out some 3 easy steps we can take to avoid the danger. First of all, stop. It's important to take time in your day to stop. When you stop, it keeps you from jumping straight into bad decisions. Although acing the test would have you dreaming about receiving your college acceptance letter to the top university that you've dreamed of, you would want to stop, because stop gives you a chance to process the right choice. Next up, think. Thinking gives you a moment to consider the consequences of a poor decision. This could give you the clarity to avoid whipping out your phone as quickly as you can to snap a photo of each of the test pages. Thinking would give you a better judgment than sharing the entire test to all of your classmates via text, or pulling out your phone in the middle of the test to copy down all the answers. Not thinking does not always lead to the wisest choice. Thinking would allow you to ask yourself, if I cheat on my science test, what's going to happen? If I take a picture of the answer key and text it out to everyone, is this what Jesus would do? If I take out my phone during the test to copy answers, is that godly wisdom? Think leads to the 3rd step to avoid the danger. Act. Once you've stopped and taken time to think it through, then it's time to make your move. It's time to go to your safe place. So back to our scenario. When offered the opportunity to cheat on a science test, the safe place is to decline looking at the answer key. The safe place is finding extra opportunities to study for the science test before you walk into science class. Maybe your safe place is encouraging Jake not to cheat and asking him to turn in the answer sheet to the teacher. From the very beginning, God designed people with the ability to think and act according to His wisdom. With God's help, we can stop, think, and act on the wise choice. The safe place is not always the easiest option, but following God will lead to the wisest option. At times, this will be easy. At other times, it might be very difficult. Regardless, God is always with you. Through all situations, God is there to help us make the wise choice. You guys, don't forget what we read in Proverbs chapter 22. Wise people see danger and go to a safe place, but childish people keep going and suffer for it. Danger takes all shapes and sizes. God gives us the ability to recognize it. To do this, we must not just plow through the situation without thought. We must stop and think. If you need help thinking, find someone who is wise to help you. Then we must act and move to our safe place. Wisdom is only effective when it's put into action. So this week, think about your life, your situations, your influences, your danger. Then answer this question: what could keep you from being wise? Remember, it's important to stop and think before we act to help us live our life with God's wisdom.